Hello everyone, we're live again. This is the channel where we learn and learn stuff in public. So currently I'm working on this project. This is the thumbnail for this for it. If you haven't watched any of my previous streams, there are in the playlist linked to this video. So basically, we've been working on this building. Most of the time, if you've watched any of these videos, you see me suffering, trying to figure out small details and trying to find the best solution to approach something. Like yesterday, we suffered a little bit with creating this water tank. But the approach of this channel is to learn in public, basically, instead of just like trying to figure things out. And maybe later on, we'll shorten all of this information in small shorts or small videos, small tips and tricks. We'll see how it goes. But for now, I just want to keep the momentum going. And speaking of momentum, in the past less than 10 hours or 12 hours, the channel has grown by maybe approximately 14 or 16 followers, or maybe more, maybe around 20 followers, just because some friends on threads, especially Dylan, did tag this channel, and I want to thank them for this. I want to thank Dylan especially, and everyone else who's subscribed. You're probably watching this later, so thank you very much, guys. It was the best thing that I can ever work up to. So back to this building. So this is, if you haven't watched any of these streams, so I've been doing these kind of assets to post on my Patreon for free. Like when we're done with this building, hopefully we're gonna be done at some at some point. I'm gonna be posting it on Patreon. Everybody can go grab it. It's gonna be for free. Patreon, all of my assets on Patreon are for free, at least for the next couple of months. And there's a paid tier, $5 per month, just for support only. Anyways, let's start fumbling around trying to figure out things. Nothing is planned properly here. Like we have a broader context. This is part of a bigger project where I'm creating scenes from my city. Maybe 4, maybe 5, maybe 10. I don't know yet. We'll see. So this is one building that's gonna be in the background, something like this. And if you have seen the post before, there's like a dude sitting in here. There are generators. There's like a moped that we streamed before in here. So we're only detailing this from all sides, just because it's gonna be posted on Patreon. So I want you guys to take advantage of, like, maybe you'll use it in your project from different point of views, maybe different perspectives. It is semi-detailed, so looking from this point of view, it looks detailed, but like going closer, it's the detail starts to break. So if you want closer shots, you might need to add details to it. I'm not gonna go crazy on it, because in the end, I have like maybe 10 or 20 buildings. If I do this much details for each of them, I'm gonna break my foil. So it's not low poly as in game asset, and it's not high poly as a like animation asset. It can be just like I'm doing a good background asset, or like some mid-level building, like something like this. All right, so let's begin. We're very advanced right now with what we did so far. Like it's almost done. It could be maybe a stream or two. It depends on. I'm probably not gonna paint this like in here. Maybe I'm gonna unwrap it. But I just wanna like start finalizing the details, because we're almost done. I'm not sure if I'm gonna do like the whole interiors of these shops. Probably not. Probably I'm not gonna do like all these snacks and all the fruits and vegetables. It's just gonna, for me, it's gonna be something like this again. Probably I do the snacks in here, but maybe not all the vegetables. Anyway, I wanna start today's stream by trying some idea. So I've seen some tutorials where people are creating trash bags from geometry nodes. I've used geometry nodes previously. It's really cool. I've done some big projects with it. I kind of forgot it. Of course, like I can still remember a few things. So let's start from this. So first, let's put the cursor where we want it to be, right in here. Press Shift A, and you know what? Let's go to Edit, Preferences, and go to 2.2, just so we can all see what's happening. Deal. So let's go to Shift A, Mesh, probably Cube, scale it down, something like this. put it out. So go to edit mode, and we can also Shift A, start adding maybe a UV sphere. Yep. Scale it up. It doesn't really matter. I'm gonna show you what we're gonna do. The idea is that we want to spread this around as if this is like the volume of the trash inside of the trash bag. Let's Shift D, let's rotate, let's put it in here, let's scale it. Let's do one more. Maybe move this a bit to the side, like rotate it randomly, scale it. So let's create a new geometry node. So this is a geometry node editor. And if you haven't used geometry node before, so this is the input of these mesh. And if you cut it, you no longer have an output to geometry. And it's just like shader editor. It uses probably the same shortcuts. Let me remember. Yeah, so this is how we stream. We try to figure things out directly. All right, so there is a node. If you press Shift A, you go to geometry. If I'm not mistaken, in operation, there's something called bounding box. It's not bounding box. So this is, it's gonna be, let me see, convex hull. Yeah, so it's the convex hull. And this, what's trying to do is trying to wrap these objects inside like a plane. So if you go back here, press L, now you can manipulate this thing a bit. So press L just to create the basic form of a trash bag. Control L, move this. Rotating this probably is not gonna do much. I think what I'm gonna do as well is I'm gonna press right click, I'm gonna subdivide probably by a little bit more. I'm gonna bring the sculpt tool. And this is the convex hull is trying to wrap this geometry, which is basically this, as much as it can with whatever like this face is. So if you also smooth the geometry, so if you press S, Shift F, scale it down, just so we don't smooth like heavily. And this is probably too much. Yeah. Let's do an auto smooth. Let's go for maybe materials. Okay, let's go to sculpt again. So what I'm sculpting is, I'm sculpting the base, squares and circles. I'm not sculpting the plane that's wrapping around them. Right, so that's a good reminder. Now, I think this is enough. We don't need more than this from geometry mode. We can apply it. Now we only have this. I think we can go to sculpt mode. We can go press R, change the resolution. I'm in sculpt mode. I pressed Ctrl Tab, selected sculpt mode, pressed R. This is for the resolution of the remesh, okay? And I press Ctrl R, and now this is one mesh like this. We can sculpt it a bit. So what we did with geometry node is just define a bit the shape. Of course, we can do like a million things with geometry node. I could have done the whole thing in geometry nodes, but I don't really remember it. I don't want to like spend too much time like suffering today at the start. Let's start the day on a positive note, especially that we got this many subscribers in such a short time. So really happy about that. All right, I have a plugin called Quad Remesh. I don't remember the name of the developer actually. It's called the Quad Remesh. It's really good. I think it's on Gumroad. It's not too expensive. It's the same remesh algorithm of ZBrush. You just define how many quads you want, how many faces you want. Maybe let's go for 500. Of course, there are some settings that you can try. Just gonna try to remesh it because I want to apply. Yeah, so it finished. You can see that's a big difference. If you press T, you go back to sculpt mode. Now I want maybe the cloth filter. Let's press shift for all the axes. Let's see what will happen. Okay, that's too much. Let's add some mass, a bit more mass. It's too heavy right there, like this, I know. Let's pinch it and then let's expand it maybe. Or no, let's inflate it. Like this. Yeah, that's better. Maybe now we can take the cloth brush, press N, go to the tools. Then I think we need to set persistent first. Then we need to decide what type of operation we want to do here. So the drag is not doing much. Probably I shouldn't have set persistent. Let me see. I'm not sure. I need to study this brush a bit more. So there is the simulation of local versus global. The cloth mask could be a bit too much. Enable collision. There is no need to enable collision. Let's try to do some push. Okay, so the push is working fine. The pinch, the inflate, the grab. Let's try the grab. Yeah. So you can use cloth brushes for like even like collisions of hard surfaces. Like if you wanna do like metal car, like some side crashes on cars, some metal sheets that are you know, bent or wrapped or whatever. It doesn't have to only be cloth. You can use it for other things. Like here, I'm using it for a trash bag. Okay, that's good. I wanna just try to like every trash bag is in reality. In the end, they all go back to one point here. Let's go to edit mode like this. Let's try to maybe extrude that a bit. Scale it something like this. Extrude a bit more, scale a bit more, bring back the sculpting. Soften this a bit. And let's bring the grab. It's a bit too much. It's too big as well, so. I'm not sure if I wanna keep this. No, I don't know. You know what? Forget it. Let's try to ignore this for now. So, like it could be flipped, it could be anything, that's fine. So, let's put this in here. Shade auto smooth. And maybe let's Control A, apply the scale, right click, convert, set origin to geometry. Subdivision surface. No, this is not. This is for this. Let's forget it. Now let's see if we can just get away with the smoothing of the normals without adding any more geometry to it, because we can, but there is no need. Okay, let me raise the voice a bit. Then we can add a new material. Let's call it trash bag. Let's make this one black. Scale it down. Duplicate it. Rotate it by maybe the x-axis. Move this down on the Z. Rotate this like this. G, something like this. Yeah, go back to sculpt mode. Let's drag this like this. It's like I always say, it's just an illusion of details. It's not real. It depends on your point of view in the end. So if you're this far off, this is perfect. If you're this close, not as good. So it depends on the level of details. And in games, they have a term for this. They call it LODs, which is the level of details. And that's specifically for this stuff. So let's do trash back 2. Let's do this one in blue, the dark blue. And maybe since we have this one hidden inside, now that I used the view layers, I usually lose a lot of stuff. You see compressors cable, satellites, we need the first satellite back. Wheels are fine, water tank, we don't need the first water tank, yeah. Now I can put this somewhere, let's say here. Scott. Z and material preview. It's the same thing as going here and pressing this. Then let's give it a trash bag material. All right, we got this. The second thing that I want to do, let's, you know what, let's just add another one in here. Let's scale it a bit. It's too big. G, top view, rotate by something, get the sculpt tool. Just do something like this. Okay, that's this. Now for this door, just want to add a bit more details. So let's do Ctrl R. Put it here, press G, Z should be 1.1. At approximately this height, at the 1 meters, 10 centimeters, we usually add a hinge, sorry, a handle with the lock. So let's go back to object mode. Oh, please stop. How can I cancel this view layers shortcut? So if you're on an object mode and you press 1, 2, or 3, you kind alter between the view layers and what you can see in here. And it's really annoying because it's not bringing back everything I want to be back. So the lamps are not getting back. I have to turn them back in by myself, and it's a waste of time. Okay, so I should always remember that to press 1, 2, or 3 like the numbers when I'm in edit mode. Anyways, back to this. Let's add a line in here. Let's go to 1 for the vertex, Shift S, cursor to selected, and now I can press Shift A, mesh, cube. Let's make it around 5 centimeters in all directions. Let's assign a material. Let's call this one, I already have a chrome material, so I'm gonna use it. I'm gonna tab, Alt Z, I'm gonna bring these, and then I'm gonna push them on the y-axis outwards, and these inwards. I'm not sure if the door is properly aligned, but I know that this box is. It's not 100% like perpendicular or parallel to the axis of the world, but that cube is, so it's fine. Okay, let's push this down like this. Let's drag it a bit on the x-axis, and now let's remove the Alt Z. We don't need it anymore. Let's insert by something. Let's scale it on the Z. I want to try to create a small box in here. Let's extrude this on the Y. again, and like this. And now we can take this and move it down, up. And let's try again like this. And maybe we should separate this so we can bevel it properly without having to worry about these connections. So just press C, picking the faces here, making sure that I picked up everything. Just press P, the selections only. And now I can go to edge mode. Let me see, I think if I press Ctrl, no. So selecting these and this and this and this, and I think we still need this edge and these edges. Now if I bevel these, that's perfect. Then I can pick these faces, delete them, then these edges and F. Of course we can do a lot more than this, but again, we don't need to. At least for this, because eventually this is like that. And I just doing this because I want to reuse it here, which is also a bit far away. And probably want to reuse something similar in here if I ended up doing a door. Let's see. Now for this side, let's paint these Q link flat face. Yeah. Let's assign these the brown material. Yeah, that looks much better. And now let's isolate this back. Let's take this. On the Z axis, Shift D. On the Z axis, scale it down by a bit. And this, let's Control R, Control R again. Let's pick this face. Let's Control Shift B so we can bevel this, and let's change the shape. Let's change the width. Should we change? Okay, let me see. Now the shape doesn't matter much because we went for a custom profile. Okay, that's fine. Let's scale on the Z. Something like this. That's fine. Let's, you know what? Let's connect this at the center. You know what? No, let's keep it. Let's just add some supporting geometry to it. Just like this. All of this is too small for anyone to care about. Is it Control Shift Alt? Is it Control Alt S? Just give me a second. I'm trying to figure this out. Alright, let's do it again. Pick all the faces, make this the center one as your... Trying to do this, the command that makes everything like into a circle or a sphere. Yeah, it's called to a sphere. Okay. Nope. So it's Alt, Shift S, and then you drag. And then you have this factor in here. Then you have the mirror editing. The proportion editing is what messes things out. I'm gonna do it again. Anyway, this is fine. Ah! Again. Scale back on the Z. Let's extrude backwards like this. I'm not gonna worry much more. I'm not gonna waste more time on this. That's it. I know we can add much more details, but we're not gonna do this. So this is our door. This is our first door. Let's remove the roughness from the material because we don't want that reflection. Then we can just join it. Ctrl J. We don't need to have all of this information. Let's tab 1. Let's put the origin somewhere that matters. So maybe here. So Shift S, cursor to selected, right click, origin to geometry. Alright. Let's save. Let's isolate this. Shift D this. Let's go. Let's hide this one. We don't need it anymore. Let's go to the top view, pressing 7. Okay, Z to go to the solid. Alt Z to see it as X-ray. And instead of messing with the door, I'm just gonna make this bigger. And then let's make sure that the door is properly aligned with the floor, something like this. Now we can make the door a bit smaller. It looks weird. It could be that the height in here is weird, so let's fix the height in here. Control to deselect stuff. I don't think we need this. Yep. So Alt Z, G on the Z axis, and this is it. I think that, do we have a floor in here? Oh, okay, we do, so we're fine. So we have these doors now. We have this door. Alright, let me do probably a door in here. What's the material of this one? Let's make it building. So let's actually need to create the material and then select it from here. So it should be building. Now if you go to the rendered view, because it has a ambient inclusion, let me show you the shader. Let's go to shader editor. This is the building. And you'll see it's an ambient occlusion fed into a, forget about the color, that's not important, fed into a color ramp. So and it's crushed basically to the, where you have the dark part of the ambient occlusion limited a bit. So this is how you can expand them. And here you can see it's messing things a lot. So just pushing out the shadows a bit more. And this is creating the dark side, the dark parts in here, because there's a lot of occlusion inside. You can just play with this whenever you want, it's fine. You can even make it a brighter color, so if you make it something like this, you'll see that these walls inside are like this. I tried to match a bit the color of the shadows with the color of this paint, just for a bit more like color theory and harmony. Alright, now for this, let's go back. Let's press Z, material preview, X wireframe. The stairs can be made out of concrete for the time being. This, the top, no, not the fuel layer. So the thing is, I need to turn on the lamps, I need to turn on one of the satellites. I'm getting used to it. So top, edit mode, 3 Q linked faces. For this, I want to assign it the concrete material, but I want to keep this in white because I don't want to make it too dark. So if you look from below, it is white. If you look from above, it is gray. And the same thing we want to do for this face. We want to add the building material here, and we want to assign it like this. So same thing. From the inside, the ceiling is white. From the upper floors, it is a concrete floor. Okay, where were we? Where were we? We were here. All of this, let's do it like this. You know what? Let's do the same thing for the staircase in here. See, so I can paint this selection. Painting selections is probably one of my favorite features in Blender. It's so fast. Alright, new. Let's say that we want to do this in concrete. Assign it. That's perfect. Should we do this? So if you do, if you select the material, you can go to edit mode and you can say select. So now, basically, picking all the faces that are in this material. I want to see if I did this in brown. So it's called, if I'm not mistaken, building tool. And let's assign it. I want to see if it looks better in terms of design or not. It kind of looks more interesting, honestly, than the white one. Let's pick these faces. They are in concrete, probably because of the selections we did previously. So let's assign them with this brown material. Let's make sure in here is fine. This is fine. There are some alignment issues, but that's okay. All right, now the thing that we started, that we want to do. Okay, so I want to take not these faces, these faces. So let's loop like this without this, but with this. So shift to add the selection, control to remove from the selection, alt to loop around selections. All right, so let's do shift D, right click, P, separate. So now we have this frame by itself. We can work on it separately now. We don't need to see everything else. Let's hide this, we don't need it. Let's go to this view, it's a bit more clear. So first thing, the edges, let's delete them. Then let's check all the vertices if we're fine. Okay, we're okay. Then let's start with the frame. It's gonna be here. So this is the frame. First, let's make one solidify to the inside by 2 centimeters. Make sure it has even thicknesses, because sometimes it shows, sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes without even thicknesses, you get some sort of weird bending. Let's go to object mode, apply. Let's go back to edit mode. Let's pick this face, zoom in, press alt on the edge, and it's gonna loop. But it's looping all around. We don't need this, so let's not loop. Let's just pick these and then right click, extrude along normals, something like this. Flip normals, offset even. Yep. And let's see, something like this. So maybe around also 2 centimeters. Let's give it the same material of, let's remove these. I think it was something red. Wait. It's the chip stand paint. It's a nice color. It fits the mood in here. Then I don't know what's happening to my phone. Then we can just add a loop cut here, delete, or instead of deleting these faces, let me Shift D, let me separate them. Top, let me fill this with this, and then we can fill that like this by pressing Alt and fill. So it's a metallic door. Let's scale this. Let's first set the origin to geometry. Let me scale this by a little bit. Let's push this up. Let's add some details to this door instead of doing it like a flat door. Let's do something like this. Since this is a metallic door, and let's cut like this, and let's push these downwards. So now what we want to do is go to edge selection, select loops. Is it the rings? Yeah, we're gonna select the rings. Then we're gonna select these, and we're gonna bevel. Let's see. I think we have some selections that we don't want, like this and like this one. Yeah. Let's bevel, Control B. Okay, we also don't need this. Shift to deselect, not Control to deselect. Alright, again, Control B. Something like this. Let's keep it at super ellipse, it doesn't really matter. Let's make the width 1 centimeter, so it's technically 2 if it goes on 2 sides. Then let's go to the faces, deselect these faces and deselect, like we don't need any of this actually. So let's deselect all of this. We probably don't need these as well. So shift select, press C, shift select, C and shift select all of these. Let's start by extruding along the normals. Something like this. Make sure the offset is even. And then let's deselect these guys. Making sure we only have the horizontal. And then let's extrude again along the normals like this. And we can still do one more thing. I'm not sure if 3D matters, honestly. But we can use it. We can use this door somewhere else. So let's detail it a bit more. So what I want to do is I want to press on this face, Shift C, cursor selected, and I want to Shift A, go to probably mesh is fine. A mesh circle would do. We need to rotate it. Nope. Shift A. Mesh. You know what? I'm gonna do a curve, Bezier curve. That's better. Let's rotate it by 90 degrees. Let's make it much smaller, like this. And then the top view, because the door is tilted, heavily tilted. we need to rotate this like this. And then in the geometry of the bevel part, we can do something like this, but I'm not sure if I wanna, you know what, this is fine. That profile is fine. I was trying to see, you know what, let me see. Should we do this profile like this and add some more resolution? Yeah. Yep. Let's make the depth smaller and let's scale a little bit more. All right. Now I think if we just shift D this on the Y and then we can shift R a couple of times. Shift R is repeating the last command. And now we just give it the same color. And this is fine. Let's Ctrl G. We can't because we need to convert this into a mesh first and then Ctrl G the whole thing here. And we can Ctrl G it here. So now we have a door in here. Okay. We're almost done. We're like it's about the small things now. The small things now. Just checking my phone quickly. Just checking my phone quickly to make sure why the internet is lagging. Let me show you how I'm doing. So let me just wires for these. It's just a simple Bezier curve that I'm positioning by hand from these details here, like these small cylinders. Details here, like these small cylinders. Let me position this a bit more. Is it Control A? Wait. What is the command to scale vertices? That's the question. Scale vertex. It is. My internet isn't supporting a lot today. I remember it is Control A. It's Alt S. So Alt S. Yeah, you can scale this a bit. So just a Bezier curve with some points going into the walls, and this is it. But I'm doing a lot of these, so you can see it. I'm not doing this on stream because that's too much time. It takes a lot of time and it's not that interesting. Like, we're not gonna learn a lot. It's just following the vertices and making sure that they're not intersecting, they're going through the right path, they're logical, they're not weird, like they don't have some sort of a weird bending or something. Okay, so I'm probably gonna do, like, I did this for the AC compressors here, and I did this firing for the satellite. Probably gonna do much more from this pole to the building. So there's gonna be a lot more wiring for this. And probably I'm gonna do this AC. You know what? Let me show you how I'm doing one of these so you can get an idea. So this AC is probably gonna be for the shop below. It's not gonna be for this one. Then I'm picking this point. I'm doing Ctrl Shift B, and I'm beveling. You can add more points, but then you have to support them. Or you can keep it just at 2, and that's fine as well. And then what I'm doing is I'm just adjusting these without much worrying of alignment or anything else. Doesn't really matter. Then I'm extruding on the Y. That's fine. You can scale this a bit. You can slide these just to make it look a bit messier. Let me bring these. So this is going downwards. I think this is fine. So what this is, you have copper pipes with insulations, you have electrical wires, and then you have water condensation pipes, right? I'm gonna take all of these, I'm gonna shift them here. I think we need to mirror that on the X local, probably, yeah. So this is simple. This one goes right in here. This is just for the water. We can do it, especially here, we can go V automatic just to have a cleaner curve. Oh, okay. Then we need also to mirror that on the Y. So, yeah. Let's do it like this. Then let's move it inside. And then we can extrude this. So these are just lines with material and a bevel profile. That's it. Nothing more than this. Next, let's also right click, mirror this on the Y local. And yeah. So let's just keep this for us right now. Let's go into different views so we can see a bit more. Let me keep my OBS open just so I can see what's happening. So this is the copper thing. Let's try to adjust it a bit. So the copper pipe goes into this part of the machine. Of course, that's not universal. There are different designs, there are different ways to do things. There are different models in reality, so if you look for your own reference, you're probably gonna see something different completely. Then what we need to do is take this, rotate that. You also have to keep it believable. So just make sure you don't have like some weird twists and bends. In the end, these are copper pipes that can break at some point, so you have to make sure that the bending is realistic, kind of realistic. Like if someone is working on this, they won't bend it like that. First, I need my mouse. So it's gonna be probably more direct bending like this. The secret is just to look around you. Just like take visual notes of when you're moving around, if it, like especially when it's the subjects that you care about. Maybe UV unwrapping. So here, let me show you since we're here. Let's unwrap something because I'm probably gonna like put some assets on my Patreon, probably for the water tanks, the AC units, and maybe the antennas, the satellite, and maybe the wheel before putting out the whole building, just so I can put something out because it's been a long time. So let's say the water tank. Where it is? Where is it? So this is the original water tank. Let's isolate it. Let's go to shader editor. Let's create an image texture, or I think already have one. Let me create an image texture. I think we already have we created already a UV one. It's not here. It probably hasn't been saved. So let's create a new one. And instead of blank, let's say you need a UV grid. Let's call it UVs. Press OK. Link this here. So you're gonna see how this object is currently reacting to the material. You see that these in here. Not sure if we can do textures here. So you will see like what's happening. Okay, we don't need this anymore, but we will need, let me save. We need the UV editor, and if you remove the rendered result from here and you turn on the sync, now you can see that how this is wrapped. Okay, so let me remove the texture from here. Let me bring it back to the material just so we can see what we're doing. So the first thing that we do is we decide where our seams will be. So right click, select the edge, right click, and mark this as a seam. Of course, in here we need the seam. So this can be done by itself. It's gonna look good. I'm gonna try not to mark these as seams. I wanna see how the unwrap will behave with these guys. And I think we can select this, press Ctrl till here. We can mark this as a seam. So this is gonna unfold and flatten out. This is gonna be flattening out as a cylinder. We got to this point, then let me hide this for now. So we're working on just on this. So for this, I think we need, this cannot be one object, of course. So we need to mark these. Okay, let's see. Probably need to take each patch of these separately. So here, with this, same thing here. Here, this and this. Let's mark this as a seam. Let's press Ctrl till here. This, then this till here. And adding to it this and that, right click, mark as a seam. Then all of this plus these two guys and this. Right click, mark this as a seam, press Alt for all of those, Shift. We're probably done. So UV mapping isn't the most fun process, as you can see, but it's not the worst as well. It's fine. I used to hate it actually. Now I'm more at ease with it. So let's pick all of these. With this, let's mark this as a seam. Let's pick this and this. You know what? Let's pick actually this and this. Let's mark this as a seam. So these are gonna be the rings. This shouldn't be a seam, so it should be clear seam, yeah. So this is gonna be wrapped flat. This is gonna be wrapped flat. Now we need to think about the vertical ones. This is gonna be wrapped flat, but like we need a cut somewhere here for this to be wrapped properly. And the same thing here. We need a cut somewhere here to mark this properly, and then this can be one. So all of this is done. We can do this without this, but we need to figure out. All right, this is actually good. Without this, let's mark this as a seam. So this will wrap by itself, this will wrap by itself, this won't. Probably these, let me take this, clear the seam, probably these can be wrapped with this one. So let's pick these faces, mark as a seam, and these faces, let's mark these as a seam. Eventually you can make adjustment after you did all of this, it's fine. I'm gonna show you how easy it is to do the unwrapping process. Mark this as a seam, and let's do this part as well. Here to here, then this, then this. Mark as a seam, perfect. Again, my hands are hurting a bit, so this, mark as a seam. And then let's pick this, press Ctrl, mark this as a seam. And then we can clear this and pick this. Mark this as a seam. Almost there. Pick these, mark these as seams. And let's clear the seam here. And let's do that. I think we're done. Still have only this one. Let's save. Let's Alt H because we still have this. If you press Shift H, you still have this. What's that? Let's go Alt H. Alright, so let's do Ctrl L, Shift H. Alright, let's do the same thing. This is easy. We're gonna do this. This is a seam, this is a seam. This is inside, it doesn't really matter, but we still have to do it. This is a seam, and then we need something vertical. So this is the seam from the inside. So the inside is done. The inside is actually easy. Is this flat? If this is flat, then this is perfect. This is a seam. And then we need a vertical one because it's technically we're cutting it and opening it. Okay, so that's the process. Then we need to do these, just like we did with the, we don't need this. Just like we did with the water tank, we can do it in here as well. So this does this without these two, does this without these two. Mark as the seam. So this, wait a minute, this and this without these, mark as a seam and mark as a seam. Just make sure that we didn't pick up anything weird. That's perfect. Then this one, this one, and this one, and this guy's. I'm not sure if this is attached to it actually. I don't really know. But because of this, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna mark this as a seam. And then let's just do these guys. So one. Do we need to do that? I don't think so. I don't think we need to do this. This is gonna just flatten out. We don't need to do this separately since we did all of this. But I think we need to take these by themselves. So yeah. We need to mark seams around all of these corners. So let's do this. And this is where the magic happens. So Alt H, object mode, save. Let's bring back the material preview. Press A, U, unwrap, and all of this is unwrapped. You can see it's kind of fine. There are some distortions, and this is because of this that can be fixed. All right, so let me show you. If you have this turned on, you can select on both sides. So if you select the face in here, it's gonna select the mapping of it. Just let me have a quick look what's happening. So these are for these, which are looking perfect actually. Everything is looking very good, as expected. This is perfect. These are for these. What are this? Let's isolate. These are the one that flattened out. It's looking great. So the only thing that needs fixing is this one. So let's bring it outside. All right. So these are whatever happening in here, which are also looking fine. So the thing that we want to do is we want to select everything. Just take one of the quads that is aligned properly, and then let's say follow active quads, and you can see now everything is aligned properly, right? Not 100%. It has like some sort of a wrap. Let's make sure that this face is aligned properly. So let's align auto, align auto, align auto, align auto. Now go to faces, select everything, make sure that this is the active face, right click, follow active quads. Yep. Now it works just fine. There was a little bump that wasn't showing. So this is properly wrapped. This is perfect actually. We don't really care about the seams because there are like a million ways to cover them these days. Right, what's happening in here? Just make sure to see. This is working fine. So there is something in here that needs to be properly cut. So these are attached to each other. So I forgot to mark a seam in here. So let's mark a seam. Should I? The question is, should I does it unwrap everything or does it unwrap just selection? Just unwraps the selection. Right, so this is having a lot more textile density because it's much bigger than the rest of everything. No, that doesn't really matter. I'm gonna select everything. We're gonna go to UVs. There is something here called average island scale. So it scales everything to be the same size proportionally. It packs everything on top of each other. That's fine. There's an add-on, free add-on called Magic UVs. If you go to UV manipulation, and here you can pack them. You can pack the UV, you can accurate islands. Here you can say if you want to allow deviations, a little bit of deviations for the packing. I'm not gonna allow it. So just putting everything in place with a little bit of scale. Scale down a bit. There are add-ons for this, but for me, for the style that I'm working with, for everything, that's doing the job perfectly. I'm okay with it. Now you can rotate, like for these are like this. If you want to rotate them, the view mapping for it to be like this, you can just find these guys and just rotate the whole thing. So you can do Control L, rotate maybe by 45 degrees. And let's do the packing again. Let's do the scaling down. Let's create some margins for the textures. This is it. And that's it. So these are wrapped, as you can see. inside this. Okay, perfect. Now, just for the proper preview, let's go to shader editors. Let's just select this and just delete it. We don't need it anymore. Now we know that this is wrapped. If you want to ever like paint it or texture it or whatever, that's done. And that's it. I'm not sure if I'm gonna do more streams for this building. I don't know if I'm gonna unwrap the whole thing and then maybe I'm gonna stream the unwrapping process, but for the rest of the work, I'm just gonna do wiring, some small details, nothing that's gonna be major. If I find that there is something that should be shared, I'm gonna share it. Anyway, thank you so much for watching.